Where do you live? 112 Main Street. Did you know this lady who was killed? Yes, I did. You are a married lady? Yes, I am. You have children? Yes. What business is your husband in? He is in label manufacturing. And did you ever buy any merchandise from this woman? Yes. I used to do business with her. She used to come out and I used to buy some dry goods. Just tell us what kind of merchandise you bought from her. Well, you see, she used to bring me pillowcases, tablecloths, and handkerchiefs, anything that is included for a household. How often did she come to your home? Well, very often. She used to come, in fact, nearly every week. And would you buy anything from her nearly every week? Yes, I would never let her go without anything, you know. I would always buy about $3 or $4 worth of goods. For how long a period do you remember buying merchandise from her? Well, before October 5th, 1992. I dealt with her about 14 years. And did you ever recommend or introduce her to other people? Yes, I introduced her to my sister-in-law and some of my neighbors. And do you know of your own knowledge whether this lady sold merchandise to your neighbors? Yes. And your relatives? Yes, she did. I took her once, and then she used to travel about herself. You are not related to her, are you? No. Are you related to any relatives of hers? No, I am not. Do you remember who originally introduced you to her? Well, you see, she was a friend of my mother's, and this is how I knew her. After my mother's death, I knew her so well, so I thought I would rather give her the business than give it to some stranger. And you have been dealing, as you say, for 14 years with her? Yes. Now, can you tell me approximately how much in all kinds of merchandise you bought from her approximately each year? Well, about $150 to $200 a year. And did you ever visit any of your neighbors' homes and see any merchandise there of the character that she sold? My sister-in-law. In your presence, did anybody that you can recollect buy merchandise from her? Only when I went over with her to my sister-in-law. That was the time. What type of lady was she, as you remember her? In which way? I was about to finish. Was she at her age and for her age a very old, decrepit lady, or was she active? Very active. Did you ever have any trouble with her having her understand and hear you? Not at all. She was a wonderful woman. Did she ever in your presence write anything, any memorandum down? Yes, of course she had to put numbers down and she would write. Did you ever watch her do that? Absolutely. Did you ever notice whether she ever had, during all the years you know her, any trouble in seeing? Not at all, not that I know of. Did she ever have any trouble in coming to the doorway after leaving you? No, not at all. I understand you to say that this lady would come to your house with some merchandise, and rather than have her go away, you would buy something. Is that right? Yes. In other words, she always brought it with her, did she? Yes, the goods. When you say that rather than let her go away, you would buy $3 or $4 worth each week, is that right? Yes. How many sheets would you buy for $3 or $4? Well, you see. No, tell me that now. How many sheets would you buy from her for $3 or $4? Well, I have a 13-room house. How many sheets did you buy for $3 or $4? I used to buy a dozen each time she would come. This old lady would carry a dozen sheets, would she? She would. That is a pretty heavy load, isn't it? No, a dozen sheets don't weigh so much. That is not a heavy bundle? No, not at all. When she would come the following week, what would she tell you? The following week I would get pillowcases and some dish towels. Yes, and then the next week after that, what did you buy? Then she would come again and I would get some handkerchiefs. $3 or $4 worth of handkerchiefs and some stockings. Then what would you get the next week? Of course, not exactly every week, but every 2 weeks, of course. It would average about every week about $3 or $4. You were buying quite a lot of sheets and handkerchiefs, weren't you there? You see, I have a large family. How large is your family? Well, we are 13 people. When did you decide to be a witness in this case? When did somebody first speak to you? What do you mean? When is the first time anybody asked you to be a witness in this case?
How fast was that?
Not very fast. What's the best?
I think so.
I was, Good. $135.